What's up, everyone? And welcome back to my channel, Action Creature. And today we are going to be performing surgery with the Monsterarts Iris. So let's start this video off with a closer look at the details. So, let's start this off with taking the camera off the tripod here because there is so much going on with this figure that it's going to be really hard to keep the camera just on the tripod to actually get a good look at the details here. So we'll just start off with the head. It has this really nice metallic paint with that nice yellow ball inside of the head there, and it looks really great. Towards the tip of the spikes here, it's actually a translucent plastic, so it looks really nice. The neck has it's kind of a darker red with a nice orange dry brush on it to really make those details pop. And the sculpt is just awesome. Going lower to the chest here, the blues and the yellow are nice translucent plastic, and it honestly just looks really beautiful. With the arms here, they're also that nice metallic silver, and they look really good. The underside of the arms, something that we really don't see in the movie on Iris. I guess fingers? It's kind of weird. I've never seen that before. Going down to the legs, some more translucent blue, and it looks really nice. And then down to the feet here, more metallic silver and that kind of dark red orange dry brush. It looks really good. Working our way to the back of the figure, we have the main wings, or I guess spikes, that stick out of Iris's back, and they look really cool. It almost looks like a shell on the shoulder there. Like there's just so much sculpted detail in this figure. Now onto the back side here, we have more spikes or wings, whatever you want to call them, and they have really nice sculpted texture into them. The silver is consistent throughout, and it just looks really shiny and great, especially under this lighting. Up next, we have the tentacles here, and in the center, if you can see, this is actually a translucent ball, so that's really cool. The claws look good. The tentacles themselves have a smooth texture to them, but that's accurate to how the movie was. Those look really great as well. And from this angle, we can kind of see some more detail on the legs there, the back of the legs, and those look really cool. So taking a step back here and just looking at the overall figure, the figure itself looks amazing. You really can't knock it. I mean, it's dead on Iris. There's so much sculpted detail with this thing, and I couldn't have done it better myself, obviously, but I don't think another company will be able to top this anytime soon, at least for a articulated figure. With all that being said, though, let's go ahead and get into articulation and why I said we are performing surgery earlier in the video. So this thing has so much going on with it. It's so spiky. There's just so many little things to be careful with. This is really not a figure you can play with. It's one of those, you're gonna display it and not touch it again and leave it alone. That being said, though, nothing really pops apart or anything like that. Like, I'm not having problems with the tails or anything. Like, they're staying on fine. It's just, there's nowhere to really, like, grab this figure and start playing with it because you feel like, oh god, maybe I'm gonna break something. I need to be careful with this thing. So let's just start with the head here. Um, the head itself presents a challenge because, you know, it's just so spiky. Like, where do you even start with this thing? It will look up this much. So it looks up pretty good. And then going down just about that much. So it just pretty much looks straightforward. Going left to right, it's really only the head that's going to move for you. So the head itself will look left that much and look right that much. And, you know, it's on a ball joint, so you can kind of mess around with it. And it's pretty limited, but I think for Iris, it's definitely good enough. Up next here we have these shoulder pieces, and they are on a ball, and they'll move around quite a bit, as you can see there. They'll go up, down, and then back, and then flare out. For the arms, they are a little bit tricky. So you have this huge thing you got to work with, right? So you can move the shoulder itself forward and back a little bit, and then out to the side. They will almost get a T-pose, not quite. And also you got to remember you need to be mindful of where this is going. They'll go down, pretty much straight down to the side. Iris is actually pretty jacked, as you can see the bicep there. It's even veiny. The elbow will go about that much. So pretty much 90 degrees. And then the arms will go straight down as well, and even a little bit more. So you have a ball at the top of the elbow, another ball at the bottom of the elbow, and then this piece itself is also on a ball. You can also bring it in this much, and that is about the extent of the arm movement there. Sorry, let me just pop this back in. This is actually supposed to come out because it swaps out with another piece. And now for the legs. Let's see how we're going to do this. For the legs, they can go up pretty much that much before this piece starts colliding with the arm. And then they will go back about that much before the foot starts colliding with all the tentacles. If you swap out the flying pieces, they'll be able to go back even more. Out to the side, they will go out about that much, and then in this much. The knee joint is actually pretty good. It's more of like a standard knee that you would see on a regular figure, a double jointed knee. So that's about the range right there. This piece right here is a little bit tight, but this section can also move. So imagine if it just moved back more. Mine's just a little bit tight, so it's kind of stuck. Oh, and all right. This is interesting. So I guess there's a hinge on the back of the thigh here that also connects to a ball joint. So I'm going to have to get this back together, so give me 1 second. Alright, so I got that back in, and man, it was actually a serious pain in the ass. Oh my god. That was hard to get back in. So just be mindful of how much you move the legs. Don't do the knees all the way back, or that might pop out, and it is a serious pain to get back in. But anyways, let's continue on. For the feet, they will go down. Like these little parts right here, these go down and then they'll also go up, and the heel moves as well. It goes out and it goes in, so you could kind of pinch them together like that. And then for ankle rocker, they do turn to the side really nice, so you could spread them out, like spread the legs out and still have the feet flat. This back part does turn as well, so it turns with the whole foot there, and that's nice. So it also goes out that much. So now let's go ahead and get a look at the back of the figure. All right, so here's the back, and the reason why I'm holding it like this is because this thing is actually seriously finicky. It is so finicky, so I feel like this is just the easiest way for me to hold this and kind of show you guys the articulation on the back here. So starting with the neck right here, these pieces, it looks like they would move, but like these right here, but they don't really, so don't go cranking on those. They're kind of stuck how they are. It might be super tiny ball joints, but I don't think it's even worth moving them because they are not moving. Same as this one right here. This one is also just kind of stuck there. This one right here is on a bit of a ball joint. It will go up, down, and you can kind of shimmy it around a bit. Same with this back plate right here. Goes up, goes down, and we'll shimmy around. And then this one right here, this one doesn't really go up. It just kind of feels like it wants to stay down, but it'll rotate and kind of move around left to right. These right here will just more so just hinge up and down. It's probably on a ball joint, yeah. So they'll rotate out as well and go up and down. And then you got these right here. These will go down and up. You see what I mean though? By performing surgery, this thing is, there's just so many moving parts, it's hard to handle. But yeah, so this will go up and down as well. So now for the tentacles. So for the tentacles, you're really gonna want to always have them posed like this because it's how the figure stands. Without these on the floor, I don't think this thing could stand. I'm sure you could probably balance it if you spent an hour trying to do it, but this is how they'll normally be. But if you look in here, we do have a ball hinge joint. So the tentacle itself will hinge up and spin around on that joint in there and go down as well, and about that far up. The rest is just, you know, like a normal Godzilla tail. It's all just ball joints here, and I really haven't had any problems or issues with stuff popping out. All the tails are pretty much the same movement. You can flatten them out nice, curl them in about that much, and it looks pretty cool. And you know, you can get a couple of them off the ground probably, as long as you have two or maybe even one just supporting the figure so it could stand up. These right here, these actually open and close. They just open right up and close. So these are actually not on a hinge or anything. It's just a friction joint, so you can just pull these right out if you wanted to. One of mine came out earlier, so that's how I know that. But yeah, so wouldn't worry too much about breaking them because they are just held in with friction. So at the end of the day, you know, this is a really good looking figure and it articulates nicely. It's just not very fun to play with. Super finicky. And another thing to take into consideration, this was $300, but I do think it's worth it, like the amount of engineering that's in this figure, and you know, it's also Iris, you know, a kaiju that really has no action figures of it at all. So I do think it's worth it. It's just, it's one of those things, it's like, do you want Iris to complete your Gamera display? If you don't, I think you could just pass on it. But if you need an iris to complete your display, this is definitely the one and only one that can do that for you. So at the end of the day, we're kind of limited to our options here. So this is the, best iris as of now, but it's also the only iris. So you just kind of have to weigh those things and factor in, what you're wanting. Also, I realized that I forgot to talk about the torso articulation, but it really doesn't move. Like, it doesn't lean forward at all. It just leans back. It does rock side to side a little bit. Just a little bit. Not much. Everything is so heavy on the back of the figure that it's going to hinder the torso anyway, so you're not going to be able to move it very much. But yeah, so now here's the part that scares me. Let's go ahead and get into accessories, because this is a Monsterarts that actually does come with our accessories. So let's look at those. All right, so here's our accessories. There's two more of these. I just have these two out because, they're symmetrical on each side. And I'm going to show you guys Iris in the flight pose, unfortunately. I really don't want to do it, but it's a review, so I got to do it. So we have 4 wings in total. This is just 2 right here. We have 2 of these also. These swap out, but I just have 1 on the table right now. And I'll point these out again once I have it in the flight pose. And then we have these little tiny things right here. These will go on the back of the leg. They also swap out for the flight pose. And there's another one of these as well. And then we just have this insane stand. I mean, look at this thing. This is ridiculous. But, they had to do something to get Iris flying. So here we are. And this is part of the reason why I feel like it's worth it. Like, they went that extra mile to make sure you can display your iris flying if you wanted to. Let's take a closer look at these wings, though, because these are actually really cool looking. They have like a really nice purple gloss over the translucent plastic here. I'm not sure if it's picking it up. But they look so good in person. So these, if you did display it flying, it would look awesome. And then they also have the little grabbies on the side right here. And they look really good. As for the other side, pretty much the same thing, just slightly different pose. And they look good as well. Got the grabbies too. And then for these feet here, it's just pretty much a silver spike. So let's go ahead and get him into the flight pose. I will be back. Let's see how long this takes. I'm afraid. All right, here's some progress. I got the wings on. That only took me about a couple minutes. Now time to put the feet on and put them on the flight stand. All right, so getting it on the stand itself is actually not that bad. But I ran into something where I was like, you know what? I just don't want to do this because I didn't want to deal with the back of the leg popping off again. And in order to get these big spikes onto the legs, like how it is in the flight pose, you have to bend the legs a complete 90-degree bend, and then you can get them on. But I just didn't want to bend the legs all the way like that again, because then I would have to put the back of the thigh back in again. I just did not want to deal with that. But it is on the flight pose, or on the flight stand, and it does look really awesome. So, when I eventually move and I have my collection room and everything displayed, I might actually display it like this because it looks so cool. But yeah, like I said, this figure is super finicky. So it's just kind of like you're going to set it and forget it, just put it in its pose and leave it that way, and that's it. But
this does look really cool flying, I gotta admit. Like, this looks awesome. This looks so cool. It's completely badass. It's a great piece, honestly. It's just not fun to play with. But yeah, so with that out of the way, let's get the tentacles back on again and do some size comparisons, and we will end this video.
All right, so we got her all back together. It actually wasn't too bad. Putting it on the flight stand, taking it off the flight stand, putting the tentacles back on. It's not too bad. It's finicky, and you need to be careful. So just remember that. But anyways, we'll do some size comparisons. Here is Iris next to Godzilla -1. Godzilla -1 is actually a pretty beefy figure, so this looks good. They look good together. Up next here we have the Hiya Toys Godzilla 2019, and you guys know these are a little bit bigger figures, Hiya compared to Monsterarts, so but they still look good together if you wanted to put them together. And so the Hiya Toys Godzilla stands at right exactly about 7 inches, where the Iris stands about 6.5, maybe a little over 6.5. Up next we have the anime Gamera, probably one of my favorite Gameras. And this Gamera is about the same size as the other ones. I'm sorry, I don't have the other ones on hand to compare. They're just boxed up right now. So this is the Gamera y'all got for a comparison, and this actually looks good together. You know, Iris is actually one of the kaijus that didn't make it into the Gamera anime, so that's unfortunate, but hey, you know, they're together now. Okay, anyways, let's see. We got the NECA Toys Predator, Feral Predator, and he just completely towers over Iris, and obviously this is out of scale. But yeah, let's see. We have a McFarlane Batman. And last we'll do another Monsterarts Godzilla. We got the 91 Godzilla. He's a little bit hunched over, but you guys get the idea if y'all have, you know, one of these figures. So, at the end of the day, this figure definitely looks amazing, but if you want something you can play with, this is not it, unfortunately. It's not very fun to play with, but it is fantastic to look at. It looks so cool, both just standing there and in the flight pose. So I hope this review has been informative for you guys, so y'all can make a decision of whether or not you want to drop the money on this. I'm not sure if this one is sold out. It was a web shop exclusive, so if I had to guess, it probably is. So, you know, if you are wanting one, you better get on it, because the price is probably just going to keep going up. But anyways, you guys, I did want to say thank you so much for all the new subscribers. After my last video, I think I gained almost 100 subscribers, maybe more. And I am really appreciative of that. We're almost close to 500. And, you know, the fact that you guys have so many options when it comes to watching reviews and other toy channels, that y'all chose mine and decided to subscribe to mine, then you know, just thank you. I appreciate it. You know, I just enjoy doing this. You know, I don't have a lot of reviews to do. I just review my new stuff that comes in, and then yeah. But if y'all want to see reviews of the anime Gamera, the 91 Godzilla, or Godzilla minus one, let me know. But this week I have the Super 7 Meltdown Godzilla coming in, and the Super 7 Destroya, and the Hiya Toys King Ghidorah. So the next month will be pretty good. I should have those 3 videos up sometime soon. But yeah, hope you all enjoyed. Have a good one. See ya.